And here we are at General Sullivan's headquarters. And General Sullivan, a very important individual for reasons that I'm about to tell you. Let me just give you an idea of where we are right now. Unfortunately, I can't take you right up to the house that General Sullivan stayed in. You can get an idea, see as close as you can from here. This is private property at this point, owned by an individual. This is where the headquarters of General Sullivan was. And General Sullivan's an important guy because really his importance to this story is how he becomes involved in all of this. And that goes back to Charles Lee. Now, Charles Lee is a British general. Well, he's a British soldier, becomes a general when he joins the American cause. He's really second in line under George Washington. And to most people's way of looking at it, he's got the greatest military mind out of the Army. And to his way of looking at it, he's got the greatest military mind in the Army, certainly far superior to George Washington. And Charles Lee really believes that Washington is a figurehead. Okay, we have to have an American in charge of this thing, but they can't expect this fox hunter, this person who really has no experience for anything of this kind of volume, this degree, this level of importance. You can't expect him to be leading the Army. He's a figurehead, I'll be leading the Army. And if you look at his letters, the letters between George Washington and Charles Lee, you really see that that's his point of view on things. Now, when Washington gets out here to Pennsylvania, he immediately wants to create some kind of an attack for the reasons I told you in the last episode. He wants to shake things up. He wants to go after England. He wants to go after these Hessians, which are really, to him, it's almost insulting that they've been let out there in such an open space, so easily attacked, that it just shows contempt for the Americans that you'd have such a small group of Hessians out there in such a vulnerable way. So Washington wants to attack. He needs Lee to bring his army out here so that they can formulate an attack. The thing is, Lee's in no rush, and he doesn't respond to George Washington's messages as if it's the commanding general giving him an order, even though that's exactly what it is. He acts like it's a neighbor asking to borrow the lawnmower. Okay, well, maybe, I'll get there. Let me just ask this other guy if he can do it. He keeps putting it off. Finally, he gets arrested in a tavern. He's about 7-8 miles away from his army, gets arrested by the British. And many in England, they celebrate. They are very jubilant over this because, as I've said, in their way of looking at it, he's got the best military mind in the army. A lot of people celebrate. One guy who knows him well, who fought with him, says this is the worst Christmas present we could get. Basically, he says, Charles Lee's a lot more help fighting against us than fighting for us. At any event, Sullivan is going to become the general of the army that Lee used to be in control of, and Washington's going to order Sullivan to come out here, bring his army to join his, and that's exactly what's going to happen, and that's going to allow him to do this attack. Let me take this moment to shoot down one canard that's been out there. People say that George Washington attacked on Christmas because the Hessians were celebrating and drunk. Nothing could be farther from the truth. They were not celebrating and drunk because Washington had been doing a series of attacks, almost daily attacks, little forages to attack these people. I think he learned something when he was in Winchester, Virginia, and you had to constantly fear attacks from the Native Americans. These guys were ordered to sleep with their clothes on. These guys were ordered to always be very ready. So they weren't off celebrating. So why did the attack happen on Christmas? Because that was the first day they were able to do it. He gets Sullivan's men, and as soon as they've had adequate rest, they're going to go, and that's going to happen to be on Christmas. Why the rush? Because if that river freezes over, then the British are going to be able to cross the river and attack them, and that's not going to go so well. So there you go, and I will see you at stop 3 next.